So my name is Bebo, and I'm going to give you a demo of the Brilla Coach app. So as you can see, currently this is the home page, and this account is on a pro plan. I'm going to jump to the Oracle page because I think that's one of the most important features in the app. So traditionally, if you're a coach or a coordinator and you're training teams or you're preparing questions for your teams, you usually have like a laptop or PDFs and documents that you dig through, and you have your questions stored in a laptop somewhere. You read them. This platform was built to make your training or your coaching process very easy. So what it does is it gives you the context in a very structured manner. Long and short stories. You have contests from 2025 all the way to 2015, and you can filter by the year. So you can take select a bunch of years that you want to filter or train with. This interface might be a bit intimidating to work around, but the idea, the goal is it's broken down into year, subject, and contest, right? So if you take a year, say 2025, a quarterfinal contest, all the biology questions for that contest is arranged in a set. So for this first set right here is 2025 biology contest 28, the quarterfinals, and all the biology questions for that contest is arranged here. If you want more granular control, there's the question sets. This gives you the 3 sets of questions that are read for each of the rounds. So instead of having just an aggregation or a group of biology questions for a particular contest, say contest 28, you would have all the round 1 questions and all the sets of biology questions for round 1, all the sets of biology questions for round 2, all the sets of biology questions for all the rounds. Those 3 sets of questions, you can filter by them in this mode. I like to filter in contest sets because it's easier to do that. Yeah, long and short is you have all the questions here, you can filter by them. And as I said, it spans like from 2015 to 2025. There's the feature here that lets you build a full contest. So if you want a full contest, let's say the complete contest for quarterfinals for a year, you can just do that straight away without needing to add all of them together manually. The idea of having that level of control is because you would want to mix and match some contests based on certain filters that you choose. So let me give you an example. Let's say I choose 2025 and I want to filter by quarterfinals, and I want, let's say, contest 32, that quarterfinals. I can check which sets are available, and you notice here that all the 4 sets of questions are available, so you can then add them to your set builder. So this section right here is called the practice set builder. The header is where you filter, and the left panel here is where you see the set. So I just added the complete set of the complete set of quarterfinal questions for this year to this practice builder. The practice builder lets you just build and mix and match contests. And when you're done building, you can launch them into practice. I'll talk about this later, or you can preview them, you can see the question. But let's talk more about the filtering. So the level of control you have here is you can filter by years, you can filter by topics, and the topics are arranged in biology, the 4 subjects. You can filter by round, you can filter by stages, what stage the question was asked, and you can filter by subjects. That is a complete set of filters that you would need as a coach or a coordinator. It gives you very granular control over how you mix and match. So let me give you an example. For example, I want to run a contest. I want to get a set of questions for a particular topic. Let's say I want to get let me go to a physics. So I want to train on, let's say, mechanics, specifically energy and heat. I can just choose this filter, and all the questions will give me here that would come or appear here would be physics questions that have energy and work questions as part of them. So I can just get them straight away. If you don't want this level of control, you can also filter by year. Say you want all those questions related to 2025, you would get them here. You could filter, you can say, okay, you don't want 2025, you want 2024, and you can add these. Let me clear the practice view. I can add, let's say, prelims questions 1.8. Let's say I don't want physics anymore, I want math. it gives me chemistry. Sorry, I want chemistry, and I want this topic. I can add these, blah blah blah. So that's the level of control you have. But you're asking, how do I know these questions, or what questions exist here? That's why you have the topics to filter by. But if you want to see the questions, this preview questions button here, you just press it, and what it's going to do is going to render the questions to you in the way you would see it in a document or a PDF. I don't remember the questions I selected, but okay, so I selected these questions, chemistry and physics questions, and I have them rendered here. And a kind of neat manner. So you have the preamble, you have the questions, it's rendered in the parts like how it was read. The cool feature you have in addition to this rendering, as you'd see in your PDFs or documents, is you have this AI panel, right? And what this AI panel does is, for every question, it gives you an explanation of why that answer answers the question. And it gives you a section that helps you to solve fast. It helps you to identify the question the next time you see it and how you could have thought about it. It gives you hints about the question. And this exists for every question. So let's go to a physics question. So if I click this AI, it's going to tell me what the formula is for solving it, how to plug in the values. If I go to solve first, it will tell me how to think about solving it faster and how to manipulate certain values to solve it faster, which is a really cool feature. And we have it for every question. So that's just to preview the questions. Now, the idea is that you build the questions in the Oracle, that is the archive of NSMQ questions, a decade of questions. And then you push them into another platform and you have a live round simulation. I'm going to show you. So when you click Start Practice, it's going to prepare the questions you've selected from the Oracle page. And as I said, you have a level of control on the Oracle page. You can select a bunch of questions, you can mix and match them. That's why it was built to be that granular and low level. You can select questions in one particular topic, and then you push it to this page, which is called the practice page. So on the practice page, you can start a contest, a 3-way contest, team contest, or you can start a 3-way individual contest. These teams you can create by going to manage roster, and you can add your teams to 2 individuals in a team. You can add more individuals if you want. So assuming I want to start a 3-way team contest, I just select the teams. You see team at Discord because I'm biased. I went to a Discord. That doesn't matter in this demo. But you select the teams. Let's say I select these 3 teams, right? So I've selected the mode I want. That is why it's supposed to be easy. So it just makes your training easy. You select the mode you want, whether you're running a team contest or an individual contest. You select those people who will be partaking in the contest. And because you have your question selected, you just click on this button and it sends you into live action. I'll show you how the live action looks like. So one side note, for now, it's just a 3-way setup to model the NSMQ standard. I know as a coach or as a coordinator, you might want to run multiple individual, let's say 5 people running a contest at a time. So I'm building that and it's going to come soon. But it's tricky because the NSMQ questions come in 3 parts. So I have to figure out how to fill up those gaps, but I'm working on it. So right now you have a 3-way team contest or a 3-way individual contest to run with, and you select the team. So let's see what happens when I click this start practice button. So it sends me into this page, and as a coach or coordinator, how I would take the same way I would take, let's say, a PDF or a document and try and find the preamble for every question and read that out. You have it in a more simplified, neat interface. So at the top, you have the teams partaking or the individuals partaking in the contest, and at the screen level here, you have whether it's a preamble. If it's a preamble, the preamble comes first before the question, just like anyone. So you'd go ahead and read this preamble to your team, and when you click begin questions, it starts asking the questions in the order they appear at the top. So let's say it starts with team A, and yeah, so the idea is it handles the timing, the NSMQ timing, and the scoring for you automatically. So you don't need to score as you read, and you don't need to time the question. All you need to do is to click review answer, and it will start the timer. So let's say I'm reading the question to team A and I say, during winter periods, the entire body of lakes does not freeze, thereby preserving aquatic organisms. This is after I've read a preamble. So when I'm done reading this, all I do is I click this and it starts the timer for the question, and I can click whether they got it correct or not, and then I move on to the next question. That was a 10 seconds question because it's an explanation question, not a solving question, like how NSMQ works. And because I clicked that team A got it correct, they got 3 points, and I moved on to the next question. So if I click the same for here, it's going to start the timer, and I can grade what they do. So assuming, let's take they don't answer in time, and they are bailed out. If it's bailed out, it goes into a bonus automatically, like how NSMQ works. And let's say team C picks up a bonus. The bonus is 5 seconds. Once again, it follows all the NSMQ rules. So team C attempts and they get it wrong. Right now, I'm not doing deductions. I'll build that in later. But let's say they get it wrong and you move on to the next question. So team B got it wrong. Team C's question. That reminds me, I need to build the -1s into the flow. That would be fixed very soon. So team C gets the question and they get their own question, and you click start the timer. You check if the answer is correct, is the same as what you have here. If the answer they gave is correct, you just click correct and you can move on to the next question or not. So for every question that you read, I remember I mentioned there is a panel, an AI panel that explains. So if you click this top button here, it's going to open up this panel, and the panel should explain why the answer is correct, or why it answers the question. And this is for questions that require calculations and you want to solve fast. But for explanation, it also tell you how to identify and answer the question fast. So this can be super helpful. 90% of the explanations that it gives, the AI gives, is super accurate and helpful. So if I click the next question, it goes to the next set of questions. And the next set of questions, as you remember from practice builder, is physics. And you can read the preamble and you can begin the questions. Goes to team A, you read their values for them. You click the button to review the answer, starts the timer. You grade them. It's 30 seconds once again because it's a calculation question. So that's built in. You don't need to do this. So let's say they get it correct. You move on to team B, you read, click, they get it correct. Move on to team C. Let's just say team C gets it wrong, but sure, they get it wrong. It goes for a bonus to the others. Let's say team B attempts it and gets it correct. Yes. I'm just going to show the AI for the physics question as well, because I think it will be interesting. So the AI explains that this is the formula to solve the question, and it gives you a hint of how you should have recognized that is the formula for it. And when you click here, it gives you the shortcuts or how you could have solved it faster. And then you can, when you click next, it goes through all the questions you've selected. It goes through them one, just like how you would run an actual contest simulation. So those are a really good tool to help you not have to dig through PDFs and track. The good thing about this is it tracks all this. It tracks the performance, it tracks who is answering, it tracks how fast they're answering, it tracks the performance of your team. So every simulation or every contest you run in this tracks and is saved for you to view. So to show that, let's say I end this contest, it's going to tell me team A won. I can click done right away, but I can also click view analytics. So this goes to a different page, which is the analytics page, right? Now the analytics page gives you, as I said, very detailed information about the performance of that particular contest that you just ran. So you don't need to keep track and then tabulate the results and then have the final answer in, and you have to have it on pieces of paper or type it somewhere on a PC, and then you have to find it and you get them missing and you can't track the performance of your teams. You don't have all those problems here. All you have to do is just click build the questions that you want to run the contest on, push it into the live practice, read the questions to them, grade them, and then have your results calculated accurately from the question. It's very accurate. It's not made up. So the total number of questions that were in that set were 70, but you didn't go through all the 70 questions. And it tells you the average accuracy across the teams. It tells you the average response time, so you know whether your team is fast or slow. And it tells you what is being tracked. That is important. The important thing is the score progression. So you see how the score progresses for all the three teams that all the three teams in the contest. And if we had done like more questions, you could have seen how it moves around. But it just shows you how over time what questions. So here you see that we just ran 6 questions, and at the end of the 6 questions, these were the rankings. You have subject level analytics as well. So if you had more subjects, here we just run chemistry and physics. So you see the distribution of the questions across. See the performance for each of your teams for all the subjects and the overall accuracy. This is very helpful if you want to know which team is strong in which subject. You have also round performance if you want to know which team is strong in which round. And mind you, you can also run this in individual mode. So if you want to test your contestants or your team members, how well they do over rounds and how well they do over subjects, you can run multiple of these contests and you have all these data aggregated, which is very accurate, and it will just help you make decisions on your team. So we ran only round 1 questions because I didn't run the whole thing, but you can also run, if you continue, it moves to round 2. Round 2 has its own logic. NSMQ aware. It doesn't move into like everybody gets a question. You just have the 3 teams and you click who's answering and you grade whether they got it correct or not. Could have moved into round 4 and round 5. We don't have round 3 for now. But I also showed you what are the strengths of the teams. Right now, just chemistry and physics. So you see the strengths reader. If you have more subjects, you see the strength visually. There's just like a visual representation of the strength of the teams across the subjects. This is the final sum and the results. This is analytics for one practice session. You can have analytics for all the period, all the contests or all the simulations you run in the app. So I've been doing a lot of testing. So I've run a lot of sessions or a lot of contests. So I've run 83 contests and all just to test it out and make sure it works. And it just by default aggregates that information for me. So I can know all the questions I've attempted, what is my average accuracy. You can also do like 30 days, 10 days, or 5 days filter. So if you want to know in the past 5 days, who's doing well, who's not doing well, you could see all that here. Yep. Let me just keep it at all time. This is helpful because you have like leaderboards who shows you who is doing really well, who's at the top across all your trainings, and you can make decisions from this as well. Just have the individual standards and the team standards, and also see overall subject performance and round performance across all the sessions or the time frame you choose. It gives you more detailed breakdown of the teams and their performance across the subjects, how many questions they've answered. Let's say biology, they have 83% accuracy, and this are the number of questions they've answered in biology. Can also show you the momentum. Momentum is just like how well you're doing over time, whether the accuracy is going up or going down. So if you hover over it, you would see the momentum of the teams as well. This just gives you quick insights based on the data. You can analyze and say, oh, team 2 is doing really well, they're setting the pace, their average points, this guy is heating up. And here you can view all the practice sessions. So if you had run practice in the past and over it stores it in the database, and you can have the date you ran it and the questions that who was doing what, the performance, everything is stored. So if I click on one of them right now, it's going to show me the results. Let's say I click on this right now, it's going to show me this was run in the past. So it's going to show me the details of this and who won this contest. Yep. One thing is also you could click on a team or an individual and see how well they've performed over a time frame. So if I click on John, I just click on John, it's going to give me analytics just for John, how well John is performing over time. So if you want to analyze your team member or your student in isolation, you could do that, and it will show you the improvement. Here it says John's improvement is going down, and it shows you his best subject, his overall accuracy. It's a very great form of analytics. You can also export this whole page that you're seeing with all the details as a PDF, and if you have it, you can share with alumni, old boys, whoever needs to know about it. So I showed you three features. That is the practice, which is here. The Oracle page. The Oracle page is where you have the questions that you can filter, build, preview, change, add, show you questions over a decade. The last feature is the AI feature. So the final thing I'm going to show is the AI feature. So what differentiates this AI feature from using, say, ChatGPT or Gemini is because the AI was trained on the archive of questions you saw. So if you look at the archive, I showed you the Oracle page. The AI is trained on those questions, and it's trained on textbook. So it's trained on biological science, Dr. Chan's chemistry. It's trained on algebra 1 and 2, and it's trained on university physics. So it has a lot of context for NSMQ. It's not just a general AI that gives you general information. Let me just ask it what it can do so we know what it can do. So it can do a bunch of things actually. It can analyze the archive and tell you what are some trends, what are some patterns, what are frequently occurring topics. It can generate questions for you. It can look at the trend of the past questions and generate new questions for you. You can specify the round or the type, the subject of questions you want, or the topic. And it can go into your analytics page, the analytics page I showed you, and it can show you which team or which individual has weak spots and what is the weak areas of your team and how to improve it. And it can generate questions based on those weak areas. So that is a very powerful tool. As a coach, this helps you and assists you in coaching well. So let me ask it, let's say, what are trends in physics questions? So when I ask it this, what it's going to do is going to go into the database and it's going to fetch a bunch of physics questions. And it's going to analyze the trends and the style of NSMQ questions. And it's going to recognize patterns, and it's going to tell me what those patterns are. You can be more specific. Let's see, what are trends in 2025 questions? What are trends in 2024 questions? However, whatever you want to know, the NSMQ archives can tell you. So this is a very detailed report. You can tell it to be more detailed. So it says the dominant topics are mechanics, which is true, and usually asked in vector form, IJK. Oscillations also occur. Wave and optics is another popular topic. Quantum physics, Bohr, photoelectric effect. It gives you this detailed report because it has context on NSMQ question, which is great for training. It tells you what are some rules or patterns you should know about, advice for you as a coach, what you should tell your students to learn. So let's test out, let's say, let me test out something more. Let me test out, let's say, what were the 2025 riddles? Final riddles. Because it has that, they can just go in and search for it, right? So you can search for anything in the database and tell you, analyze it, generate questions based on that. I'm going to do this and I'm going to generate a question. So this is where this was the riddles in the 2025 final, and it can do it. Like, how amazing and useful is that? So let's say generate questions, generate a full contest. Let me generate a full contest. So a full contest is, in this case, a contest without round 3, because then I don't have round 3 in the database. So if I say generate a full contest, it's once again going to think about the problem. It's going to look at the archive, fetch questions from the archive. It's going to generate practice questions, new ones from the trends and style in the archives. It's not going to copy questions that already exist in the database. It's going to generate new questions, and from the testing, the accuracy of the questions being new and following the style is about 98%. Barely does it repeat some riddle answers, but it just repeats the final answer for the riddle. It doesn't repeat the clues, because it just studied the trend and it knew those were recurring riddles. So the question generation takes a bit of time, and in this case I set a full contest, so it's going to generate, let's say, round 1, round 2, round 4, and round 5 4 subjects, 2 sets per subject for all of them. So here it has 24 questions generated following the NSMQ trends with biology, chemistry, physics, and math. So you see biology set 1, chemistry set 1, physics set 1, math, biology set 2. This is round 1. It's going to show you round speed race questions. Very detailed, 24 questions, true or false questions. It's a lot of questions. Riddle questions, mitochondria involved in cellular mitosis. You can read it. You can physics, acceleration. So by default, it generates questions on the 1/8 level. So you could tell it to generate questions by specifying the stage. So if you want finals level questions, you can tell it generate final level questions. And the questions are going to be much harder because it's going to study the final questions. And say generate semi-final questions, quarter-final questions, prelims level questions. It can generate as many questions as you want. And save this into the database to refer to earlier. So let's say I save this generated demo, whatever name you want. I'm just going to save it. But the interesting and the great part of it is all your generated questions, you can start to practice with those generated questions. So the same way you can go into the archive and select past questions and then push them into practice. The questions you generate, you can just see launch into practice. It's when you take all this and prepare it for the practice, and you can select teams to compete on those questions without having to worry about getting the questions from someone or buying it or certain questions from textbooks. Here I click launch practice. So it took the questions I generated. So here you see Kaufman practice question. I just named Kaufman. It's AI generated, so whatever. But now it shows you the number, the count of the questions for all the rounds, and the topic distribution. You see some of the topic is missed. You can select, let's say I want team A, B, C to compete on these generated questions. Just to show you that it works, I'm going to start the practice, and you're going to see the generated questions here. So start the practice. This is a generated question. Name the double membrane bound organelle. You can start the timer. Works. I'm just speeding through it because then you already know how this works. Yeah. And when you end, it's going to save these results as well, so you can check it out. It takes a while to save it, so you can just click view analytics. It's going to go into the analytics page and show you the results of this as well. So this is the Brilla Coach app. If you want to view it, you can go to brillalab.com, create an account, choose a plan, and view it and use it for your team if it helps you. There should be a 7-day free trial or a 3-day free trial, I'm not sure. So you can try it out for 7 days without paying. After trying it out, if you think it's good for you, you can pay for it and you can use it. But it's a great tool. And having done NSMQ and having showed into a bunch of folks, a bunch of old contestants and a bunch of other coaches, this is a very powerful tool. And it's feature complete. So it has past questions that you need to test your students on. It has AI to generate new questions based on that trend, because always you need fresh questions. You can specify the level of difficulty, you can specify the topic you want to generate, you can specify just round. If you just want speed race questions, you can generate. You can specify the subject if you want biology alone. And the cool thing about that is the AI generated questions, you don't only need to specify 3-part questions, because by default it comes in 3 parts. So if you want to generate a 4-way contest, a 5-way contest, an 8-way contest, you can generate it. So it'll give you 8 questions per set, and you can drill your team members on it. This and analytics, a different advanced feature to analyze your team's performance across board, see who's doing well, who's falling behind over time, have that level of control to see over a 5-day, 10-day period, exporting it, having the AI analyze your analytics and tell you your weak areas. This is feature complete. If you have any questions, check the description in the video below. Text the number on WhatsApp, reach out. If you want a live demo, you want to discuss how this can help your team, reach out in the link below. Subscribe to the channel because we'll be posting a lot of features and a lot of videos. If you're interested, subscribe to the channel, give it a like, share it with your fellow coaches, share it with your fellow friends. If you're students watching this video, share it with your coach. And yeah, making NSMQ training accessible to everyone. That is the goal of Brilla Lab. And peace out.